Here we are, Diametric Convergence, another episode coming at you. This episode, we are joined by Cody Wales from the Magic Beans and, from what I understand, Judo Chop. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Judo Chop, Magic Beans, and Jessica Jones project. A couple other projects. Hunker down. I play around as much as I can, really.
Nice. Yeah. Right on. Well, it's good to have you. Of course, always joined by Brandon as well.
Great to be
What's up,
here.
Brandon?
Great to be here.
Hey guys. Welcome, Cody. I see you playing everywhere. I mean, if you don't have a Magic Beans gig or something else, you're always playing with someone else. So I know you're a hardworking musician out there. And if you could just, for the people that don't know you, I know a ton of people do, like half the world, but for the rest of the world, just let them know where you're from and what you love to do. What's your passions?
All right. Well, my name is Cody Wales. I live up in Gilpin County, which is a rural little county here in Colorado, but I kind of claim Netherlands. Grew up there, and I love playing music. I love playing music up here. I love playing music all across the country. I think I've played music in every state except for three, Alaska and Hawaii and Rhode Island. And, Delaware. I'm sorry, Delaware. And, I love creating music. I love getting out there, feeding the gypsy soul that lives within me, I suppose.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, that's wild. I can't believe you played in 47 states. Holy smokes.
I know, man. It's crazy. I think about it. I'm like, oh, yep, that one. I counted one day and I was like, holy cow.
That must be a fun life, though. I mean, unless you guys are at each other's throats as you're touring.
I mean, that's how touring goes sometimes. It's the ups and the downs, man. You live in a van with 6 other dudes, you're bound to get in a couple arguments, but we usually try to, just take space when it's available. Go out on your own and do little adventures during the day so you stay sane. Pretty good way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it matters who you are. If you're spending that much time with the same people in a confined area, it's tensions are bound to break. And
you mix that in with maybe having a couple of nights that go a little longer than you expected and some horrible farts, and you can turn nasty quick. But
and some cut ass drugs or some shit. Yeah, headaches from the next day and crap like that. So how do you prepare yourself? Like if you're playing a show or a row of shows, a tour, how do you prepare yourself for the next day? If you have to go back to back, do you just party and wake up and go at it, or is everybody different?
I mean,
you have like rituals and stuff like that.
Everybody's different, There has been times in our career when we've probably hit it a little harder on the partying than I should have or than we should have. But mostly as I become more mature, I try to concentrate on just, if you are going to go out and party, make it count. Like you don't need to go to the kid's house on Tuesday night. Like just go home to the hotel and go to sleep. But like to prepare, I'd say, usually depending on where we are, we're waking up at the hotel around like 11, or sometimes we got to drive further. So you got to wake up earlier and we go and we drive to the next spot. And then we kind of try to get there a little bit early if we can and check out the town, get some food in before we load in, sound check. And then I usually try to just take it easy for a little while. And then like an hour before the show, it's like, I don't really want to talk to anyone except for the band, and doing like just warming up and stretching, doing like different, warm-up exercises on my practice pad and just kind of like getting my head in the game. And I find it very distracting when there's a bunch of, I want to hang out with my homies. Everyone wants to come to the green room till you realize it's just 5 dudes on their phone.
Yeah. Totally. Everybody's trying to focus, right?
Yeah.
I've been in a green room one time, and my friends actually got too fucked up, and the show had only a few people, so it was kind of wild. But it was at the Walnut Room North, and
Oh yeah.
literally was like 10 people in the crowd because my friend's band is from Indiana, so no one really knew him out here, and I was
Uh-huh.
trying to get people to come out, but they, no one really was digging it. So, but yeah, they ended up getting like too drunk that night and just having a shit show is what they said. I enjoyed every minute, but
I mean,
you
for
know,
me, I if I'm gonna do any partying, it's gonna be after the show because it
right.
started getting to the point where like we were getting bigger and there was like a lot of people at the show and they like really listened to the music, and I just feel like I'm letting somebody down who came to my show that paid to see me. They didn't pay to see me get fucked up. Like
Yeah.
there's
Right.
Yeah.
there's plenty of time to get fucked up after the show, or just go home and go to the hotel and go to sleep, which is also pretty much the best plan you could do.
Yeah, totally. I'm kind of a party pooper these days, but I think if I did something like that, I really have to focus and get my mind right, like you said.
Yeah, man. It's
Any
like if you do party, it's like it takes that much more to get you back to like performance mode. You're like, oh, I'm hungover, and then you're battling that. Besides just like regular wear and tear of being in a van, and that alone, without partying, is will make you tired. So,
Yeah. How long has have your or do your tours usually last?
it could be anywhere from like 2 weeks to I think the longest one we did was like 6 weeks. Which is a long time, and usually we'll do, like 5 days on and maybe like 2 days off. We'll usually take like Monday and Tuesday off, and we try to just on the days off get out and do something cool. It's like if we're in Buffalo, we should just go to Niagara Falls because it's right there, and it'll probably keep us sane.
Totally.
But sometimes
This
you don't
weather.
have the luxury of doing that. You just got to drive far sometimes.
Mm. Yeah,
I
man.
think
That's
last year we went to the East Coast 8 times. Um, from Colorado, drove there, and then probably flew another 2 times to the East Coast. So I was like thinking about it. I was like, man, did I just cross Kansas 16 times in a year? That's fucked up.
Yeah. Way
dang.
more than Kansas deserves.
Yeah.
Eh,
So
Uh,
tell us, I guess, a little bit about like Magic Beans and like how they came to be, because that's who I know like best out of all your projects here, since I've only really listened to Magic Beans, which I say I was instant fan,
Oh, right
dig the
on. Thank you,
music for
man.
sure.
Appreciate that.
But yeah, I'm just curious because I don't know too much about how you guys came to be. Is there like a story behind it, or what's going on
Well,
there?
I'm like the third drummer. Um, and so, the band, we just actually started celebrate. We were celebrating 10 years this year. We did like a 10-year anniversary run at the Boulder Theater, all super socially distanced and whatnot. And yeah, I've been in the band for about 7 years. And, I always just saw, I heard of the Magic Beans, and honestly, like to begin with, I thought it was terrible. I used to make fun of them. I used to call them the tragic teens, and but then there was something special. There was something special about the band that would just kind of, they would just have this like following of people that like I would go to their shows and be like, people were just so into it. And I was living up in Nederland at the time, and I was touring with another band, Smooth Money Gesture, and I kind of was exiting that band. And right as I was exiting, my good friend Will Trask, who was the drummer of the Beans at the time, was kind of closing the door with them to go off to do some other endeavors. And it just kind of worked out really well, like serendipitous, like where they needed a drummer and I needed a band, and we kind of did that. And ever since then, there's been some like member change ups as far as like bass player. We used to have electric mandolin player, and the band just kept evolving and has become something that I'm like very, very proud of. And really enjoy making music with the dudes. We're actually about to release a new record soon, and yeah, things just kind of like snowballed, and we kind of grinded it out for 5 or 6 years before we really started seeing like major progress in our touring. Just like after years and years of breaking into markets, it was like finally when we go to the East Coast, it's like holy shit, there's 200 people here on a Tuesday in Buffalo or whatever, and yeah, so that's pretty cool. So that's kind of like how the band has been going.
Right on. That's I didn't even know that. That's crazy. That's a great question, Andrew. And I really love your drumming. I haven't really looked at drummers in that way. It's usually the front man and stuff like that. But when you know a drummer, you're like, let me check out and try to listen for the drum. And then you're like, wow, that's really good. So
Thanks,
I
man. I appreciate that,
do.
Brandon.
Yeah, totally. And
For those of you who don't know, Brandon used to live up in Central City, Blackhawk, and do massage up there at 7 Star Healing, and he used to work with the Scarlet, and he dropped some mean elbow, which is crucial to the level of the musician. Elbows are crucial.
Thanks, man. That's really nice of you.
There you go.
Yeah, keep working on yourself, even if I'm not around or COVID's going on. Just get that rolling pin out and make sure you take care of your arms, brother.
Oh yeah, dude. My girlfriend right now is a massage therapist.
Hey,
so I'm a lucky man. She helps me out.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, stretching and working on yourself. That's another thing of like touring that I really like try to concentrate on, because if I don't like take care of myself, the machine breaks down.
Yeah,
do routine maintenance.
Like, what kind of food do y'all eat out there? Do you bring food, or do you try to eat healthy, or you do what you can?
It's like it's a toss up. It's like we love Chick-fil-A, but then it's also like after so many nights of doing it, like then it's like, all right, we're going to the Whole Foods salad bar, and I'm fucking eating salad for like most of the day, and then it's kind of like we're definitely like foodies. Like everywhere we go, we're going to Chicago. I'm eating deep dish and like Italian beefs. If we go to like, we're always trying to eat that like regional food of like wherever we are. But then after a certain while, you're like, dude, we've been on the East Coast and I've been eating sandwiches for like 4 days. Like, put a vegetable on me.
Yeah. Since you're from Colorado, what's the regional food here? Like, what should people try?
Man. What is the regional food? Man, I don't know. Like, that's a tough one. I feel like when I think about like what's really good in like Denver as far as food, I think we like kind of knock it out of the park with like tacos.
Okay.
Like, there's like a lot of like really like if you go down to Federal and you hit some like authentic taco trucks, you can't really like, it's not like Tex-Mex. It's like authentic, like like totally. There's not cheese smothered all over everything. Green chili. I don't even know. That was a good question.
It's a mix here, huh? I've been trying to figure it out. Like, you go down south, you eat like a po' boy, or at least New Orleans, you eat po' boy or gumbo, whatever. And you go over to Maine and eat some lobster. But I don't know about Colorado.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Depends on where you are. If you're in Boulder, you eat like a vegan cheese fucking patty. I don't even know
which is dank too. Usually you find some dank.
Yeah, they are actually pretty good. Yeah. They are actually pretty good.
Yeah, like City O City is really good.
Yeah.
Not in Boulder, but
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I guess it's just known for its conglomerate of things, I guess.
Totally.
Right on.
Yeah, I mean, it's how a lot of places are too, though.
Yeah.
I mean, around America anyway, like, I mean, there's some states here and there. It's like, oh, they have this, like, Tennessee, not Tennessee. Well, yeah, Tennessee and like, the Carolinas, Texas, like they're all like barbecue, right? So that's what
Yeah.
they're known for.
It's also like I've learned like order food to like where you are. Like don't eat like Chinese food in Kansas. Just don't do it.
Right.
You know, like don't eat a burger in Chinatown. Like it's
Yeah.
like stick to where you are and you're gonna
Yeah.
be okay.
Yeah. What's the freshest? What's going to be the freshest around you? Because if,
Yeah.
if you're trying to eat lobster in Colorado, it'll probably be very dry.
Yes, unless they're getting them shipped in for sure.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of like farms here and there in any state, lobster farms.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you go out to like one of the coasts, like the East Coast for sure, you get some. You definitely want to sample the seafood.
Yeah, man.
Like we go out east every so often to like Ocean City and like that area of Maryland and all around there. Like every time like I'm near beach, like water like that, like you have to like indulge in some kind of seafood because you just
You
can't.
got
like,
to.
get it. It's like you can't get it fresher anywhere else.
Same thing with like New Orleans. I never leave New Orleans with money ever, not one time in my life. I'm always spending all my money in
I
New
always
Orleans.
do. That's strange.
Yeah. Cardboard oysters.
Yeah, I'm always going there to work, so I guess you are too.
Yes, sometimes it's a work play combination.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. I love New Orleans, man. A lot of good people down there.
Yeah, I was down there that one time with Chris, and that was a lot of fun. That's just a
Jazz
great
Fest?
city, man. Yeah, Jazz Fest. It was
Oh,
Jazz
yeah.
Fest the Jazz Fest the year before Katrina.
Wow.
Oh snap!
Yeah, yep. So I was down there, but we like walked around, downtown and Bourbon Street and all that kind of stuff, like off Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Just
Yeah.
good people like having
It's like
fun.
another country there.
It sure
Yeah.
is.
It feels like another country. It's like for me, it's one of the only town or like cities in America that I like feel like proud of the culture that exists there because
Right.
it's like
Yeah.
you're like that came from America. Like jazz was born there. Like just
Right.
like you go down there and I see like 15-year-old kids that are just like playing me under the table in the streets playing in a brass band, and just
I know.
like everything's
5 gallon bucket.
alive and and food and the culture and like you can just feel that there's been so much stuff that has happened there. Go down to like Congo Square, pretty much where like jazz was invented, like it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Have you been to Preservation Jazz Hall down there?
I've
Cody?
walked by it. I have not seen a show there.
Oh man,
But-
I actually saw the Preservation Jazz Hall band there when I was a kid. My grandma made us all sit up front, so we got like the best view ever, and it was all the old school members. It was one of the greatest experiences down there. Definitely do
Yeah,
it.
man. It's cool stuff for sure.
Yeah, and they're ever changing the band, so they keep going.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. Kind of like the Beans, right?
Trying to ever change. Yeah, like I feel like with each new record we've been putting out, we've been kind of taking new leaps in different, in different ways, different directions, trying to like diversify what we're playing and like just write like before I feel like we'd be like, oh well, let's make sure we jam on this record, let's make sure we do this on this record, and this like next record it's like let's just write good songs and play good songs.
Yeah.
Like I don't care if it's bluegrass to like funk to like like electro funk, electro dance music, like ballads. Let's just play all across the board good music.
You guys got a lot of different vibes going on there. I think you
Yeah,
just mentioned a few of them. Like it's hard to kind of pin it down, but
I feel like sometimes that's what sets us apart a little bit. Is like we really do a lot of improv, like, but then also it's like we're pulling from so many different styles. We're like some bands are like not pigeonhole, but like people are like, oh, they sound like Umphreys, or oh, they sound like Disco Biscuits, or oh, they sound like String Cheese. and like we're trying to just kind of like do all that plus like a lot of soul, like Casey adds a lot
Yeah,
of soul, Scott writes a lot of soul, and Duffy writes a lot of music from the funk soul kind of like side of things.
I like that a lot. The funk soul.
I like that a lot too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think bands that like you mentioned it just now, like that write good songs and then put them on track like that and then kind of jam them out live is what I like because I'm like hearing that song and I'm like, wow, they changed it up and made it into this
Yeah,
whole
yeah, totally. It's like
symphony.
anyone can jam, man. Like people want to. If you can't say what you need to say between like 3 to 6 minutes or 8 minutes on a recording, like you know, some of the best songs ever are like 3 minutes long.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
absolutely.
A lot of Pink Floyd's. Yeah. So when did you start playing drums?
That is a good question. Um, my pops was the original drummer of Leftover Salmon,
Oh,
and
wow.
like
That's crazy.
in like 89 to like 93 or 4. So I don't really like I can't like pinpoint a time where I was like I'm playing drums now. They were just kind of always there and I was just kind of always playing on them, and he was kind of showing me things here and there, and then I do remember starting to take lessons from my drum teacher Ernie Cruz, who's like my Mr. Miyagi. Um when I was like 12 years old, and kind of starting to take it a lot more serious then and learn how to read music and practice more and kind of like taking that up like halfway through high school. And then I remember like doing high school and being like, I'm too cool to like practice my drums. I'm going to play football and chase girls around. And then I remember coming to take a lesson back from him, and I was like 19 or 20, and I was like, all right, I'm here for the lesson. And he's like, here's an axe. I'm like, what is this? And he's like, well, you need to like have rhythm in everything you do. You need to be like and like chop the wood. You need to be like walking down the street and like to a beat. You need to be like, if you're swimming in the pool, swim to a beat. Like everything you do needs to be like to rhythm. And
Wow.
that was super inspiring to me. And then just from there, just like taking private lessons and like kind of like continuing on, and then like finding kids to play with in high school. I had some bands. And I always kind of knew in the back of my head that I wanted to be a musician, or that I was going to be a musician. And then it kind of came to the point where I was like, oh shit, like I've been wanting to do this for so long that I didn't really acquire any other skills. So I better do this.
Uh,
Besides
sometimes
maybe being funny.
it just works out that way, right?
Yeah, man. Chase your
And
dreams. You gotta go chase them. No one's gonna chase them
absolutely,
for you.
absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's important. It's important because you just sit in your room and you're like, oh, another day of this, another day of this, and you're not out there, like you said, chasing your dreams.
I kind of got to this point. I was working at this pizza shop in Netherlands, and I was just had been working there for so long and trying to do music at the same time. And I was like, I started like freaking out on people for just ordering like a pizza. Like I want a vegan pizza with cheese. I'm like, I will murder your whole family. And I was like, wait. They're just trying to order pizza. I shouldn't be such a grumpy bastard. And I was like, I'm going to quit this job and just do music full time. I'll take every gig that comes to me, and I'll teach kids, and I'll do whatever the fuck I have to do to make it
Wow.
happen. And
Yeah.
there was like some years of being really, really poor, and I'm still pretty poor, but I'm at least seeing progress in my career, I feel like, and making the music I want to make. And not right now with the pandemic has been like super tough, but before then things were going quite nicely, I would say.
Y- Yeah. I think it's like, putting your feet halfway in the pool. You either got to jump or not. And I think
It's
that's what
true, man. And you don't want to get old and regret something and be like, 60 and be like, fuck, I wish I would have tried to be the world's strongest man, or I wish I would have learned how to play the guitar, or like, I wish I would have gone to accounting school, or just fucking do it. And if you failed, then at least you tried.
Yeah, and you won't be saying you wish anymore because you did.
Yeah.
You at
It
least
reminds me
tried.
of like quote. Have you heard of Mitch Hedberg?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, his one quote. He goes, "I'm sick of following my dreams. I'm just gonna ask them where they're going and hook up with them later."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That reminded me of that one. That's hilarious. But
Yeah.
follow the dreams.
Yeah, that's a good message, man. How about other instruments? Non-percussion or singing?
I have actually started singing. I think I sang a song on our last record called Stutter Butter, and I kind of have just been trying to work into singing. It's difficult because I don't play a melodic instrument and I don't know music theory in that way. I know some like drum theory. I know how to read some drum music. Not totally proficient in that either, but like it's hard for me to be like practice singing to notes because I don't know which notes I'm singing, but I have sang, like I do know like I can sing the blues really well, and like when I sing the blues people really like it, and
Right.
so I'm just kind of like trying to work that into the beans and like work that into other projects, and like I think I have to offer a lot of uh frontman ability and like stage presence. So there's that, and I do some beatboxing and rapping too.
Heck yeah.
I've also been working on "Mary Had a Little Lamb" on the piano, so that's
All right. You gotta start somewhere.
gotta start somewhere, man.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Singing has probably been a little bit different, and that's another one where you just got to kind of jump off the ledge. I know I talk about it a few times in the past, but I know like when I started recording myself, it just was weird, and I was like, oh my gosh. But you either have to go in or out. You can't just do it halfway. So
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, I smashed that, and I listen back and I'm like, that was terrible. And then sometimes I'm like, that was terrible, and I listen back and I was like, oh, that wasn't terrible. It wasn't as bad as I thought. But yeah, hearing your voice, because it's like you only really perceive the resonation that's happening in your face,
yeah.
like, and then when you hear it out loud, you're like, that's what I sound like.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I was imagining more like soulful or like not like that.
Exactly. Yeah, not what I thought I would sound like at all, but fuck it. I mean, that's what I sound like. So that's
You
what.
get used. You kind of get used to it though after a while. I think. At least I have.
Oh
When I
yeah,
listen to it,
it's all
like
good.
okay, so it's not too bad. It starts like there's like I don't know. It starts like catching up with your own perception. Like okay, so that's how it sounds. I'm okay. It's fine that way.
Yeah. I think people that use their creativity, like musicians and artists, just live on a different realm, I guess, because they're opening up different parts of their brain and like, kind of like we all need creativity, and some of us just say we're not creative, but we're just afraid to embrace our own creativity. If that makes sense.
Yeah, or sometimes like you don't realize that you are like
Yeah.
dancing is a form of like expression and creativity, like even doodling, painting, welding, like all of these things can be at woodworking can be a form of like creativity, and like it's really important for people to like connect with that and like express themselves in a way that like makes them feel good and doesn't takes you away from the mundane and like gives you individuality.
Yeah, man. That's I totally agree with that.
I think creativity is like a necessity just for life, just to be able to approach new situations and figure your way out of it. And
and even just like it's so many things. Athletes, like watching someone take a corner on like a fucking snowboard or like conquer a mountain on a dirt bike, or that's creativity too. That's expression too. That's art as
Yeah.
well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we all watched Jordan and Kobe and all the greats get creative in their moves and how they trained and whatnot. So, yeah, you have to go full force, though. You can't just have your feet halfway in.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I guess you could, but it's I guess if you want to make something of it, then go full force.
Yeah, and sometimes I come to people come to me and they're like, "Oh, I used to play an instrument. I wish I would have stuck with it." Or like, I play, but I'm not that good or whatever. And it's like, yo, man, you don't got to be a rock star. Like sometimes I wish I could go back to a time where like playing music was so innocent and I was just doing it for fun. Like sometimes I do it for fun, but like if I'm gonna like someone wants to jam with me, like it's gonna be someone like if I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be someone that like I really want to do it with, and like sometimes it's nice to just enjoy like you're just playing guitar for yourself or whatever, just playing for yourself and not doing it for like to practice for a show or to like practice for a recording or whatever. Just appeasing yourself can be the most rewarding thing.
Yeah, I've been around
Absolutely.
a campfire with someone with a guitar, and even though they might be playing for 4 or 5 people, they're still just doing it because they love it and they're really enjoying doing that. So I feel like that's like their happy place when they're just sitting around the campfire, like playing a simple guitar and singing. I feel like if you're a guitar player and a singer, it'd be really neat to do that for your friends, I guess.
Yeah, no one wants to hear someone play drums around the campfire.
Yeah.
I mean, some people, but like, it's not relaxing.
Right. It's like, dude, stop clapping, man. But I'm sure you hear that.
Maybe not like a full kit. Maybe you get some like hand drums though. People can do that.
Yeah,
smaller drums.
True.
Scale
I've
it to the
actually played
situation.
a djembe around a campfire. I sucked, but I definitely did that.
That is the thing for sure.
Yeah.
Like I have mad respect though for drummers because I can't keep a beat like just like the repetition of it, like it'll just jam up in my brain. Like I can't do it. I don't know what it is, but I mean, it probably takes a lot of practice, I'm sure. But I mean,
practice with anything. I feel like I could teach anybody to play a simple beat, but it's just like how bad do you want to do it?
Yeah.
And some people are definitely more inclined than others. I'm sure that Bob Ross could teach me how to paint happy little trees and happy little bushes, but to me, they're probably just going to look like stick figures,
Yep.
Yeah. One of the times in high school, they had like, I was in alternative school. So we, got to do all our work just by ourselves in our own zone. And, it was a lot better. But anyway, they made us take an anger management class for some reason. They called it that, which none of us were angry. But anyways, they brought in this guy from Jamaica and we just all played drums together. And it was like a huge drum circle in class, like in 11th grade or something. It was pretty awesome. It was fun.
Yeah, man, that's good. It's good also like to just drums are very like expressive and primal.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all. Time for another musical interlude. This time around, we have a track from the band of our guest, the Magic Beans. Track is called Off Leash from the 2019 album of the same name. You can find them streaming on many different services like Spotify and YouTube. Pretty much wherever music is being streamed. Just search for the Magic Beans and you'll find them. So sit back, have a listen, and we will get back to the show on the other side of the track. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
getting
sorry, I
to
was
where you've been, and this 10 years of Magic Beans, 7 with you, they've been around a whole while, and you guys have been around a whole while. Have you reached, your pinnacle, or where do you see your pinnacle, and what is your, favorite show, or where is your favorite place you ever played?
I would say we have not reached our pinnacle at all.
Yeah.
COVID definitely put a damper on music all around the country. We were hoping we were supposed to open for Humphreys like 3 nights and a bunch of other places, and I kind of was like, woe is me at first, but it's happening to everyone, so it's not really woe is me, it's like woe is us.
Yeah.
But you know, uh no, I feel like there's so much more for us to do. I feel like we were just gaining speed and momentum and gaining fans all across the country, and I feel like since COVID, we've been doing a good job of doing, we did a drive-in. We did one of the first drive-in shows in America. We were on Good Morning America for it, which
Wow.
was crazy.
That's neat.
I don't even know how that happened, but it did. And just trying to stay relevant with like playing streams and then as they open shows up a little bit in Denver, I keep playing shows for our fans and stuff. But I don't, I feel like the whole COVID thing is kind of, it sucks, but I feel like it's given an appreciation for everyone who is a musician and a music lover, because it's like, especially in Denver, you almost take things for granted because there's so much good music. Like, oh, I'll just go to Cervantes and see this on a Wednesday, and it's like killing lineup, and then you're like, oh, I'll go to wherever and see the music here. And now that you can't, I think that when music does come back, people are going to be a lot more thankful for it and a lot more like, it'll be maybe a little more respected, and like kind of also just like helped us kind of like just chill out and like take a breath. I've been touring for like 7 years straight, and just kind of like, oh yeah, like go do normal human things, like hang out with my girlfriend and my dog and like cook food and also just kind of like take a break and reflect on like what's been happening the past couple of years and kind of think about like what was working and what wasn't working, because before that it was just like balls to the walls, 2 weeks on, 4 weeks off, 4 weeks on, whatever.
Yeah.
And to go kind of to your second question, what's the favorite venue? I'm definitely going to have to say Red Rocks. Like
Yeah.
2 years ago we opened for Lotus at Red Rocks. We were like first to 4, and that was pretty special.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it's like as a Colorado musician, that's obviously like the pinnacle. I almost had this thing of like, well, like now, like where do I go from there? Like Red Rocks, like it's like, oh, well, you just keep grinding away, and then you just keep playing bigger shows outside of your state, and you just keep trying to maybe like you try to get like closer to a right before the headliner at Red Rocks, and maybe one day the headliner at Red Rocks, and
Right.
that was special. And I remember just like it was the daytime. It was the earliest I've ever been to Red Rocks in my whole life, and I'm playing there. I'm like, nobody is going to be here. This is fucked. But there was a lot of people. Our fans are amazing, and they showed up super strong. And I remember you could looking up and just you could see every single person's face. Like I could see the people in row number 1, and I could see the people in row like number 70. Like I could see all of their faces. And I remember like looking at my dad, who's a drummer, at one point in the show and kind of doing the like I see you like thing, and he was like, whoa, and like because it's just like so intimate, you don't even realize it. Like, and when you're there to see a show, but when you're like flipped around looking at everyone, it's like very, very intimate for how huge it is, and overwhelming, and trying not to like throw up and cry at the same time.
Yeah. I saw pictures. They were pretty special. Your mom was with you, right?
yeah, my mom was there, and which was really awesome. And that was kind of like a, she always supported me, but she always kind of gave me shit like, Cody, don't tap on the desk. Cody, don't do this. And I'm like, yo, tapping on the desk seemed to kind of work out. Maybe
Yeah, a little bit.
Well,
I think.
I'm happy she got to see you do that, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I lost my mom this last year, but that was something that I was really, really so happy that she was able to see. It was really special. And all of our families were there, and my girlfriend was there, and my dad, my brother, and it's a special time. Even if the band collapsed tomorrow or whatever, I would still feel very accomplished by doing that.
Yeah,
Is there like a place you want to play? Like you haven't played it? Like, hey, this is like where I want to go.
Man, I don't even know. There's so many places. I would love to play the new Mission Ballroom in Denver one day. That place is amazing.
Oh yeah.
I went and saw I saw Herbie Hancock in Kamasi, Washington this year. There, that was amazing. There's different places in different states. Like I would love to play the Gorge in Oregon. I would love to, I don't know, Madison Square Garden or something.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's
Or
like
Radio City.
there's probably venues that I'm not even aware that I want to play. Because it's like as you're like, I'm not from Georgia, but like there's probably some beautiful theaters there, or like as you like level up and you start like these venues start coming into your sight in the horizon, you're like, oh, that one, we should play that one. I didn't even know that existed. That's amazing.
Yeah, man. Have you played Tipitina's down in New Orleans?
I know I have played a bunch of places, but I have been to Tipitina's, which is amazing. I would love to play there. We've played at the Mason and the Howlin' Wolf and the Maple Leaf, and a couple years ago we played Mom's Ball, which is like this crazy naked party that happens like in the middle of nowhere when you and like they won't let you in if you have clothes, and it was like us and Carl Denson and New Orleans Suspects, and that was like crazy. There's just like naked people everywhere, painted, and crazy.
Hell yeah, that's sounds like a rock star life.
Sometimes it is, and then you're like, it's like the dichotomy of being like, I'm a rock star, like I just played Red Rocks, and then like 2 weeks later you're in like a Motel 6 in like fucking St. Louis or something like that, and you're like sharing a hotel room with 6 dudes, and you're like, this is less rock star than that was.
Yeah.
Like anywhere, like on the planet, though. Like, so I think it was Pink Floyd. They played at the pyramids. Or not? Who was that?
Oh no, they played at Pompeii.
Yeah, like Pompeii.
Yeah.
Like if then there's people who probably play. I think like in like I don't remember. I don't know, like Pantheon and places like that where you just wouldn't expect someone to put a music show at, but like,
man, that is a cool idea. I've always I played out of the country with a couple of. I played in Belize before, with a buddy on a tour, and I've always wanted to go to like play Brazil.
Nice.
Anywhere out of the country. If you're hearing this, hire me to play drums out of the country. I'll do whatever you want. But yeah, man. I mean, just I don't know. Anywhere, they're all beautiful. Everywhere is beautiful. Like, even in our country, I think every single state I've been to, there's a cool town with a beautiful place in it. That includes like Kansas and Nebraska and fucking Oklahoma and whatever. There's beautiful places everywhere. But definitely, what?
Even in Indiana?
Indiana, yeah, dude.
Yeah, go south of Indiana. Go south Indiana.
I'm kidding,
it's nothing like the north.
I'm
No, I'm serious. Like they have they're like southern Indiana is like hills, like kind of more hilly. There's like waterfalls and a bunch of like forestry down there. It's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and
and like
and all that.
I don't know. I would love to go to Europe and play. I'd love to go to China or Japan and play. That's definitely top of the list places that I would love to go. play music.
And so we're guessing like in a non-COVID world, you know,
Well, yeah,
cut
Yes.
COVID in
obviously.
the.
Yeah. We actually got, some gig offers in like December to go play like in Buffalo and shit like that. And it was like, is it worth whatever a little amount of money that we're going to get to like go out there and do that?
Right,
It's just like,
right. You start thinking.
also I do feel some sort of like guilt about like pulling people together in a room when they're like, everyone's like, you probably shouldn't get together in this room because COVID's happening. And we're like, no, but it's a concert. Like,
Right.
It.
I just feel like some form of guilt of like, all right, is this like really the best thing that should be happening because we want to play a little bit of music? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that same
Just want to be
thing
safe.
with massage. Like at first I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep going, I don't care. And then they like took our license basically, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll stop because I have no other choice. But it really upset me that they were able to just cut us off like that. And I get it, it's for the greater good. And I listen to them because I'm not a dick like that. But
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's crazy times we live in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I talked to all the old timers and they say they've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're in wild terrain, but we definitely need music for sure. And how are we going to do that?
That is for sure.
Is it going to be the bubble concerts everywhere?
It's for a while, man. You just got to get through it and figure it out,
For sure.
Adapt.
Yeah. Get creative. I think a lot of it'll do because, I mean, what they say, necessity is the mother of invention. So people will have to figure out new ways to present their product. I think so. I mean, obviously, looking on the better side or the brighter side of things is kind of helpful because what may come of this could be beneficial, going forward in the future.
Yeah, I think it's really like, I think as like a small business owner or like a musician or an artist, if you're not like beefing up your internet game, if you're not like beefing up your website and doing podcasts and like doing other things, like when things come back to like whatever percentage of normality that they're going to come back to, I don't know if it'll be 100%. If you're not like hip to the internet and you're not like haven't been working on that while everybody else has, you're going to be left in the dust. It's like businesses are already realizing like, oh, we don't need to have this office building like and have meetings here all the time. You could just do it on our computers. Like, it's pretty revolutionary.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is, and it's so far reaching because that, it can go beyond just saving money or people doing what, being more efficient. It can obviously go towards helping climate too, because people aren't driving everywhere, flying everywhere, all that kind of stuff. So obviously there's always good things that come out of the bad shit. So that's what I like to keep an eye on.
And like Cody said before, I pointed us out a long time ago. We both talked about this, Andrew, I think our first episode, but like everybody needed a break. Everybody was just running like a chicken with their head cut off, and everybody just needed to breathe. It was almost like a meditation, a forced meditation for the world.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, at least for that week.
Recalibrate.
Where no one was doing anything, for a week or two. It was like you're locked down.
I think Cody said it earlier. Just it'll make you more appreciative of the things that you probably weren't really appreciating.
Yeah,
especially like live music and that kind of stuff. Just being able to like be out in that environment.
Like, even like hanging out with your friends or gatherings that like were beyond music. Just like going like can't even go like take a girl to a movie right now. Can't take a girl anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
like it just
you're like, put your mask back on. No, you put yours on. No, okay. It's like, hurry up and put it on. Did you touch that?
Yeah, because and just like today is like the first time I've actually eaten out at a restaurant. I think I don't know. It's been a very long. I don't. Maybe once since this started before today, but luckily the place we went to, there's like nobody there. Like we were the only people
Right
sitting
on.
in there, so I kind of felt better about it that at that point. But yeah, like just eat like because we eat like out. We eat out often. My wife and I, and our daughter, just because we like some of the food that's around here. So that was kind of one of the things that we actually got us out of the house. But since we haven't been able to, like, it's just not something we do. And it's just obviously way more expensive because you have to have everything delivered if you want to get something that's not from your house. So,
Yeah, but on the flip side, you probably cooked a lot more than you ever
yeah.
have, which is usually a healthier choice depending on what you're cooking. But I think that helped a lot of people out. I just see people just like, I know people that like didn't even know how to fucking make pasta and shit, and they're like, okay, now you have to. Now you have to make
Cook water.
Yeah.
Pour pasta in.
Yep.
Pour in.
Feed your
Well, that's true. That's true about the internet stuff, though. Like, I always like wonder about that sometimes when I look at like some like newer, smaller businesses that don't have any kind of a digital footprint. Like, I'm like, dude, it's 2020. Like, this is kind of the way the world works. Like, how do you not have at least some kind of website? Like, if you're selling stuff, obviously, if you have like a business or band or anything like that, just an artist or anything all these kind of people need to have the internet. So I think that's been kind of what people may have been working on while being at home, is hopefully learning that stuff. Cause like you said, if not, they're going to be left behind for sure.
Or they need to hire you, Andrew, and they need to do it quick.
Oh yeah, they can. That's if they want. I'm open to some like web design here and there, but I'm more like into doing this right now, like this podcast and my work.
100%.
Like,
You're a busy man.
enjoy what I do working. So like my job's like finally got to a place where it's where I'd like to be. Like I never really tried to be there because I actually have a degree in audio engineering. I got from Full Sail, if you've ever heard of Full Sail.
Yeah, totally.
But never really, not much really came of it. I kind of use it here and there. Obviously, I'm using it more now with the editing and mixing of the podcast. But right now, like it's more on like I'm into like training and education kind of like stuff like that. So in like system, like information systems design, like that stuff, like helping people learn. Like I'm a huge like advocate and proponent of education. Like I don't think there's too much anything else like out there that's more important than education.
I would agree with that.
And so I take, we have teachers in my family and coaches and all that kind of stuff. So I take it seriously. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And it's really, like I said, probably not what I planned on, but it's a natural kind of path for me that I've opened up to and come to embrace. So that's,
I'm so personally lucky that Scott, our guitar player, does so much of the online stuff. I am just like I struggle with the computer world, but I like, have been getting some unemployment and stuff like that, and applied for a bunch of musician grants. And one of the musician grants is like offers like free classes online, and I just took like a video editing class, which was kind of cool. I'm just like, just basic learning how to put a video together. So it's like, oh, okay, those are like basic skills that I should probably know as a musician.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've been having fun with that too, Cody, the video editing, like very, very basic, but
super basic.
Yeah, I mean, it's really fun to learn, and I just watched a few YouTube videos and figured it out, but I look forward to doing it more.
I didn't even have video, the YouTube stuff when I was doing it, because I was like the lone videographer for Elephants in Mud. So that's I did it was like a one dude thing. So it was me, one camera. So I had like a bunch of stuff to stick together, scenes and whatnot. But I got, it started off very like rudimentary, but as I did more, you just got better because you learned how to do this or put these things together, or you found some new software that you said, "Oh, let's try to give this stuff," and you really liked it, all that kind of stuff. So that's a fun journey, though. I enjoyed learning how to do a lot of that. Video editing can be pretty fun.
Your video you just made, Cody, I felt bad because like right after you posted it, you're like, "Oh, show's canceled," and it was like a sweet ass promo video, like that you would see on like WWE. Andrew, you got to see it. I don't know if you still have it up or if you had to take it down, but
no, I kept it up. I've been, up until COVID, I've been making a bunch of like videos like that, or like where I've like taking on like these different personalities to promote my shows. Like I was Miss Cleo one time, and I was like, my like alternative like name that people call me is Jibs. So I was like Grandmaster Giblets. I was like a karate master for a while, and then like I just feel like in an age of like when I scroll through my Facebook feed or whatever, and you're like, how many like just basic promos can you see where it's like, I'm playing this place tomorrow night with like a blue background behind it, and it just becomes mundane and people just like scroll past it. But then you like look at me being like making a fool out of myself on camera, and like, oh, this might actually be interesting. And like then the more people that watch it and the more like that I do, the people are like, oh yeah, he's doing that thing again where he's being ridiculous. And then it like helps, add like views and comments to my video, and that makes that more popular so more people see it, algorithm, whatnot, stuff.
We're working on that ourselves, learning the whole world of this because Andrew's written a book, and I've never actually been a creator, so to say. So it's a cool world, and letting everybody see you and critique you is like stepping on that ledge. But we're just like, screw it. We're both about 35 or 36. I'll be 36 December 1st, but yeah, it's crazy.
It is crazy, man. It's like, for me, it's like there's like I do like Facebook Live videos, so none of it's like pre-recorded. So I'm just like off the cuff, making shit up. And sometimes I'm like, this is hilarious, and sometimes I'm like, that was terrible. But I think that's kind of like the same thing with like jam bands that people like, is like that like possibility of you like catastrophe, or like the possibility of you like knocking it out of the park and being hilarious, and just like genuineness, and like not like fake scripted, like just people love that shit.
Well, and it's also like kind of an introduction to your band and like the personality, and because if people connect with you, like with the members of the band, like on a personal level, they're way more likely to continue to enjoy the music as well.
Yeah, totally, for sure. And just kind of being like, oh, this person isn't like some stuck up person that thinks their farts don't smell. They seem to be a pretty normal person, which we all are for the most part, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm a wook like the rest of you,
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, wookie.
That is a term I learned recently. It's funny.
Yes.
You did the wook call.
Wook's coming many
Yeah, it's the wook call, Andrew. I've never been able to do it. Thanks, Cody. I was trying to tell him about it, but he didn't believe me. So now you got it.
Yeah, it's like Chewbacca.
Wookiee, like Chewbacca.
Yeah,
I know that much.
It's close to going snipe hunting. It's very similar. So I got another question. Since we have a script right here, you know what I mean. We like to just follow the script to the T, and that's the only thing we do. So here we go.
We don't improvise at all. We're not like a jam band of podcast in here.
No, totally. We like to throw some questions out. But yeah, like we love to just kind of free flow because that's what it's all about. That's where you get the good info.
Yeah, man.
So this question is the there's a message. Is there a message the bands are sending, or is it more just like the magic that happens when people come together to sing, play, and dance?
I mean, you know, with it depends on the band. It depends on the night. Sometimes it depends on like how we're feeling and like feeling out the crowd, And like I feel like, our songs aren't about like looting and raping or anything like that. So it's mostly on the good, like positive side, or just like trying to connect with people out of like real life experiences, like like vocally with through your lyrics, but like also, just like putting out a vibe and like reading the crowd on the vibe. It's like if you've been playing like a dance song for like 25 minutes, you might want to like chill it out for 5 minutes. Like, um, and yeah, so I think, it, some of our songs have messages. Some of our songs are kind of like just carefree, like goofy songs. And I always like also songs that just like are the meaning of the song is up to the listener. It's not like totally like defined in the lyrics. Sometimes it's like what the song means to you and where it brings you. Does it bring you back to a time when like you were with your grandma? Does it bring you back to a time where you like hated this girl or loved this girl? Or like sometimes they don't even have to have lyrics to incite memories or feelings. Just instrumental music can bring you to those places.
Wow.
Definitely.
I love that answer. That's a great one. It's hard to pin it down to one thing. You have so much going on there, but the magic is all of those things put together. Is that right?
Yeah, totally. I feel like, yeah, and like when I see artists that like really inspire me, or like seeing like I saw Stevie Wonder a couple years ago, and it was just like this roller coaster of like, it wasn't just like we're here to party. It was like I cried, I laughed, I like all the gambit of emotions he took me through, and then had fun and danced. And it's like just because you write a song that you can dance to doesn't mean that you can't put a message to it. Like listen to like Bob Marley or Stevie Wonder or like any of those guys that like it's okay to have a song you can dance to that also has a message. And sometimes that message doesn't have to be so just like straightforward. It can be like hidden meanings with
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Leave room for interpretation.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I like the ones that just kind of they're like poetry and they just kind of hit you at every. It's like Mike Tyson fighting you. Uh, like emotionally they hit you because those are the ones like you reach out to when you're like struggling, whatever. So for me, those are like the most powerful. Like for instance, like Van Morrison into the Mystic.
Yeah,
You
man,
know
for
what I mean?
sure.
That's like crazy. But the fun stuff, uh, I, I was listening to a few songs on the Casino Cabaret, and I thought that was really cool that
Uh huh.
you guys. I think you put that CD out like right after the Scarlet, right or sometime in between that or during when we were there. But I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
and we were trying to.
Also, like Cervantes, because it says Casino Cabaret above above Cervantes when you go up there, and like that whole area used to be like the kind of black jazz part of town. Like Miles Davis played there, and like a bunch of old jazz and blues guys, and that used to be a casino
Wow.
cabaret back in like the 30s and shit like that. And so it was kind of like a tip to
Oh,
that.
cool! That's really awesome. Uh, I never knew that. I
Yeah.
At Cervantes one time I went to like a bar that was close to there, and it was like, you know, they I stuck out like a sore thumb, but it was really fun and interesting. Like they were just like, "Why are you here?"
Was it a
What'd you
bar?
say?
Was it a tiny little
Tiny
bar?
bar, yeah, with a black bartender.
Like a jazz?
Dollars on all. Yeah, probably a jazz. It was dollars everywhere on the wall.
Okay. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that place called? It's right down the street.
Yeah, somewhere over there. But I ended up there at night, one of the nights, and it was just a good time. I had a couple beers in there and had good talks. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at the battery of this borrowed computer here, and it's getting very
Okay.
low.
Yeah, we can. I just have one more question, if that's all right.
Oh, dude, I got
Oh,
more
great.
answers.
All right.
Perfect. You can ask him
Well,
then.
then a couple more questions. Andrew, do you have any questions before we do the last one here?
Yeah, I have one that's been kind of, I don't know, walking around in my head for a little bit here. As far as when you listen to music, is there like any music you're into that's completely different from what you play? Like like maybe opposite?
Oh man, yeah. I listen to like everything. Like, and it depends on like the mood I'm in. When I'm like driving in the car a lot in Denver, I listen to like Kuvo Jazz Station, which is this like 24-hour jazz station.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing, and it goes all the way from like vocal jazz to like Latin jazz and stuff like that. So I listen to that. I like a lot of like music from New Orleans. I like Snarky Puppy a lot. I love like D'Angelo and like Erica Badu and a lot of R&B. I also love listening to like world music, African music, any kind of Latin music. I also love like singer songwriter stuff. I love some like. It's really cool when we were touring around a bunch. Everyone kind of has a different like um, taste in music a little bit, but we all seem to like each other's taste in music. So it'll be like, oh, Casey, what are you listening to? Oh, Scott, what are you listening to? Like listen to bluegrass, listen to like, just everything. Because I just become like totally. I can't do one genre for like ever. I'm like ADD with it, so I got to just listen to different things. And then sometimes I have like 3 or 4 musician friends that I'll like be like, what are you listening to right now when I'm on tour? I'm like, I'm driving 30 hours in the next 2 days. Please give me all. And I'll know that, I'll pick specifically different people that have different tastes of music so I can just get a different taste of different things.
Nice. What's like the angriest music you listen to? You listen to it?
Oh, man. I guess that is one area I haven't really like dove into in a long time. Like when I was younger, like my first like musics were playing, like some of the first music I was playing was like punk rock music and whatnot. And I guess that kind of just like reflected me being a confused, angry teen, even though you never know what you're trying to be angry at that age. But I just like, not that I don't understand or appreciate angry music. I just don't relate to it. I'm not that
No,
very angry.
that's all good.
But that's not to say that you have to be angry to listen
Right.
to death metal or hard rock or whatever. Sometimes that just kind of like that makes people happy.
Well, because a lot of times, people want to calm down. If like you're angry, you should listen to like angry music. Because what I've learned, I took like one music therapy class, so I'm not an expert. But one of the things I took away from that class was that they, if you got to kind of match the tempo where your emotions are at, so that you can resonate with it, and then kind of start to like disperse those feelings. So
And sometimes I'll like listen to some like crazy hip hop about like murdering motherfuckers and shit like that. Maybe that's like it's fun, Or I remember like when I was younger listening to like not Kid Rock, to Eminem.
Oh yeah.
And just being like,
oh yeah, I was the same way.
I fucking hate you,
Tupac,
mom.
dude.
You're so nice to me, and you feed me and you give me everything I need.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to Insane Clown Posse concert.
Yeah, that was our first concert.
Oh, how was that?
It was,
That
we didn't
was
do it
crazy.
again.
It was hilarious. So yeah,
That's
that's an
an
Yeah.
experience.
Whoop,
We
whoop.
tried
That's
to
quite an
bring
experience.
Fago to the place, and they wouldn't let us bring it in. Remember that, Andrew?
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking, do you ever see that? Like, they have that song called Magnets or Miracles.
I think I've heard that
They have the
song.
song. It's like
Yeah.
fire, water, wind, and earth. Magnets. How do they work? Miracles. It's so funny. And then I remember like watching an SNL skit, and they were like making fun of it, and I couldn't tell the difference between like the Insane Clown Posse real thing and like the SNL skit. They were like, "Aren't volcanoes just angry hills?" Like,
There-
Yeah.
it's definitely another world, But I feel like they're obviously popular, like really fucking
yeah.
popular, and they kind of feel like they kind of cater to that. Like, I feel like the jam scene kind of might cater to like some lost souls in like a different way, and then also like
Yeah.
so does ICP. They provide like a family setting for all those like like it's like the island of misfit toys or
Yeah.
something.
They're
Yeah.
actually
But
from
like their community is pretty amazing though, because I don't know, it depends on how like which ones you get into, but a lot of them, very misunderstood just because the way they look. But like most of the time, like I don't know, like when we were at that concert, like there were no like issues. Like everybody was like cool with everybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I don't
they
know.
had a
I
good,
mean, it was
they had a
an
good
interesting
crowd.
experience.
I just met people.
I think it's a good
I
fit.
just met.
As long as you
Go ahead, Cody.
as long as you don't hate clowns. If you hate clowns, it's
Yeah,
probably not the place for you.
yeah,
But
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, dude. The ICP is actually from Wayne Westland, where I'm from. So it's kind of crazy. Near Detroit. Yeah, whoop whoop. So yeah,
Definitely listened
I
to
thought
different
I was
stuff
supposed to
back
like
in
them.
the day. Oh, you're
Yeah,
supposed to like
we also went to Key Rock, Uh saw the strippers in the cages. We saw Joe C,
Dude, I bought my drum set from Kid Rock's
Wow.
drummer.
That's insane.
Yeah, she like used to live up here a long
Yeah,
time ago.
that was back in the day.
Def-
We graduated in 03, so that was our year. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, been the same drummer that whole time. Stephanie
Wow.
Endelberg.
dang.
I don't know if she's the shit. She really helped me out a
Wow.
lot.
Well, shout out to her. I'm sure she's a badass.
Shout out to her.
She'll hear it
I'm-
someday. They actually, our podcast has been heard on Mars now, so it's crazy. We went and looked it up, and it shows like where people are listening geographically, and it showed up Mars. I was like, what the heck's going on here? So, yeah,
Ooh, the aliens are
I
listening.
think so. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Gotta diversify that.
Speaking of aliens, do you have like any other inspirations of how you create music?
Flawless transition.
Speaking of aliens, how do you create music?
Well,
Yeah, I mean, inspiration comes at different times for me. Sometimes it's like the other day it was like my mom's birthday, and I had a really rough day, and I just like was compelled to like get up and write down my feelings and kind of like write it in like a song form. So that kind of like comes to me, and
yeah.
sometimes inspiration comes from like watching my badass drummer friends like Braxton Kahn and Will Trask and Alex Johnson and all these like really Kawan Turner, all these really amazing local drummers on like Facebook, and being like, oh shit, they're practicing. I need to practice too. Keep practicing. Like keep making music. Or like when pre-COVID, when you see a concert and you just get like blown away by like a performer, and you're like, oh my god, that like inspired me to go do this and go do that. And inspiration from my dog and my girlfriend and all those things, inspiration from
Yeah.
life.
Any specific musician that just, you know,
Oh man, yes. So many musicians.
okay.
Questlove and the Roots. I love Questlove
Oh
and the
yeah.
Roots. I love D'Angelo, Eric. Snarky Puppy is a huge inspiration to me. I love those guys. Thundercat, huge inspiration. Vince Herman from Leftover Salmon, massive inspiration. He's like second father to me. He's shown me so many awesome things. Um, and also just like my fellow musicians too. Just like watching my friends fucking slay it is inspiring.
Yeah. That uh, totally, you just see them having fun and I guess see how far you've came, right? Um and
Yeah, and like the community here is so like strong. It's like we're all, especially as like musicians, we're all like supporting each other. We're like, dude, I'm so glad you got this gig. Like, dude, you crushed it tonight. You sound amazing. And it's a really easy place to like. No one's like, you sound like shit tonight. I mean, there's been a couple times, but um,
yeah.
it's pretty supportive overall.
Especially Gilpin. I know Netherlands, like a dope place. A lot of great people are from there. They're just trying to get by. It gets cold, so you got to help each other and work together and make it through. And then you posted like moose pictures the other day. Like, what a blessing you can see moose.
Yeah, man. That was that was
Oh,
with Kyle.
that's
Word up! Shout out to Kyle Macbeth.
yeah.
Oh,
Tronel was it Tronel Dump?
Toronto Dump.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's Kyle's new band. But yeah, I mean, who gets to see moose? They
Shame.
started with 14 moose, or 14 from Wyoming and 14 from Utah. And that's how they started moose here.
Yeah, man. I actually just saw 3 more moose today. They're all over. I think they're trying to have sex with each other right now.
They're in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rut.
Don't get close to them, man. Moose will fuck you up.
Oh,
All yeah, all the
Those things
boinkles
are
up there.
like massive.
oh, yes.
They are massive.
Yeah,
Cool,
so
man.
majestic. Yeah, but all right. So
Inspiration
one
comes
last question.
all shapes and sizes.
I just have one more question. Where are you headed from here, and when does the record come out?
All right. Where am I headed from here? Man, honestly, I don't even know. I'm just gonna keep making music and trying to work on myself as a drummer and my discipline and try to become more disciplined and play learn how to play piano a little bit more. As a band, we're just gonna keep chugging through, and like all my bands, it like you just gotta deal with things as they come, and right now things are coming slowly. As far as our new album, it should be out um at the beginning of the year sometime. Um, check out the new Magic Beans album. I don't even know what it's called yet. We just actually the guy who remastered Working Man's Dead and American Beauty did our mastered our CD, and we just got some of the final stuff back. So we're gonna be like deciding on a name and artwork, and probably releasing that here in the next couple months. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
Incredible.
Definitely.
I was just listening to that Working Man's Dead, so that's pretty wild. Well,
It's,
Where,
it's
yeah,
crazy.
I mean, yeah, where people find you?
yeah, where can
What was
people
that?
like listen to you like online? You guys on
Oh,
Spotify, anything like that?
Magic Beans, Magic Beans Music. We're on Spotify. We're on Nugs. We have a lot of live shows on Nugs. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but it's like a live show platform where you can like you kind of
Oh
you
yeah,
know subscribe or whatever, pay a membership. It's like $8 a month or something
TV,
like
I
that,
think.
and you just get hundreds and hundreds of bands live shows and thousands of live shows, and that's really cool. And it also is like pays us out more of a percentage than
Right.
like
Nice.
listening
That's
to Spotify. And when you listen to Spotify, you're a musician that, you know, one listen is like 0.00000
Like
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
of a penny, you know. So yeah, it's like
Yeah,
shitcoin.
absolutely shitcoin.
Yeah. But we're also on, I think we're on SoundCloud. You just type in Magic Beans Music. If you see any ads about like children's toys,
Okay.
that is not us. We're not going to be
Not going into that world yet. That's cool.
No, yeah, that's probably
Eventually.
good.
Yeah,
no.
I YouTubed it, and you have to click on the right box that says Magic Beans Music, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yep.
how about Judo Chop? And it's
Judo Chop has like a SoundCloud. Jessica Jones has her own website. I play on her new album. It's pretty fantastic. She's been playing around a bunch. She's Colorado #1
Nice.
diva in my
Nice.
book. So check out Jessica Jones' project. Chromadonna, CHROMADONNA. That's the album that I played on and the project I play on with her. If you just type in Jessica Jones music, I think it will come up. She's pretty awesome.
Right on. We'll have all those links in the description, and don't forget to go over and subscribe to their band pages, and give them as much love as you can. And
don't forget to give this podcast lots of love, everyone listening out there. Really awesome. I really appreciate these guys for having me on. It's been a really cool experience talking to Andrew and Brandon and getting to know you guys a little bit. Obviously, I know Brandon pretty well, but Andrew, getting to know you and just talking, shooting the shit, and talking about this crazy life we're living right
we
now.
definitely appreciate you coming on as well.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much. And hopefully we can do this again and keep it rolling for a long time. You know, I know you're going to do really well with whatever you do. So keep it up, keep moving, and thank you.
Right back at you. Let's link
Absolutely.
up
And
soon.
shout out to all your band members. They are there to do the magic as well. So thank you to all. And much love.
Yeah, totally. All right.
Yeah.
Take it easy, guys.